All right, guys, welcome to the Ravit Show. And yes, we are back with Jérémy Ravenel, my next guest today, obviously. Jérémy is the founder of CashStory Open Sourcing naas.ai. We'll be talking a lot about naas.ai because obviously it's open source. Jérémy will be telling us a lot about Nash today. He's also a data strategy coach, critical thinker, and loves Jupyter Notebooks. So people joining in, if you have questions around Jupyter Notebooks, about Nash, we'll be exploring everything. So don't forget to ask some amazing questions because Jérémy will be walking us through the notebook, the Jupyter Notebook, and talking about Nash. So let's do it. And yes, before calling in Jérémy, I would just want to tell folks who are joining in that you have a chance to win free credits today, which is a great initiative by Jérémy to let the folks, have a chance to win credits for Nash. So that's happening. Also, I would like to thank my partners, 365 Data Science and How to Get Analytics by Albert and John, for always being so supportive. Okay, I think all the folks are here. Everyone's in here. Let's have Jérémy. Hey, Jérémy, welcome to
Hello,
the Ravit
guys.
Show again.
Hey.
This is 2.0 version for you, right?
Yeah, second version.
But what I see is I remember we talking about NAS when you launched NAS. It was like a soft launch, or maybe you were just in that planning stage. But 6 months down the line, today where I see NAS has grown so much, and you are doing fantastic stuff with it. So we would want to know more about it. What's coming up? What's next at NAS? Also, there's an initiative that people should know about, which is the Earth Day. Obviously, during our conversation going ahead, we'll talk more about it. We have a few folks joining in. We have Dr. Tariq who's joining in. We have Neeraj Bansali who's joining in. Shruti Jain is here. Shruti says, hey, Jérémy and Ravit. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Very nice to see everyone. Everyone's in here to know more about NAS. So before that, Jérémy, why not introduce yourself to the audience who are attending today and let us know about what your purpose is.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to present myself real quick. So I'm Jérémy. I'm from France. I was born up in Brittany, in the western part of France. I was not supposed to do anything related to data and finance because I've started by willing to be a musician and work into the music industry. And in fact, my dad told me to go to a business school in 2009 when there was the financial crisis. This made me understand everything about finance because I had to do a loan to the bank basically to pay my studies. And I realized that everything was related to finance and cash, mostly about cash. And I specialized myself into finance and cash and made my master's degree in that field. Then entered the market and realized that finance was all about data. Actually, it was all about data, consolidating data, making sure that the data was available and I was accessible and clear to the boss and to the executive. So I started doing Excel, VBA, automating all that, making sure that I was able to send my report to my boss very easily. And it was too slow. It was Excel, VBA, it was quite manual. So I started digging into more automated stuff. Automation was actually the key of my journey. I wanted to go more into quick insights, basically spend less time producing data and more time with the people, with the business, understanding what they need and really connecting with the human. So basically always try to save time to spend more time with people, and automation and data enabled me to do that. So we started CashStory 4 years ago. We were basically doing Python scripts, and we were integrating Python script into production environments of big clients here in France. And slowly we realized that the tool that we were building internally for ourselves was actually something very valuable to other people, because we were using Jupyter Notebook and augmenting those Jupyter Notebooks with microservices. And those microservices are scheduling, webhooks, sending notification, exposing assets. All those microservices were augmenting the Jupyter notebooks, and we enabled the access to those microservices through low code formula approach. So even someone that is not strongly that, like, I'm not a data scientist, I'm just coming from the business. I managed to give some time into Python and coding through the Jupyter notebooks. But so I want to facilitate the access to this data and scripting. So this is all about NAS. We want to make Jupyter notebooks more accessible to people that are not coming from the technical side, but it can also help the guys from the technical side schedule jobs that are taking too long today, because it's the cost of iteration today. So many projects can fail because there is too much complexity. We want to provide a tool that enables you to basically get inputs, transform your data, and send it to your boss via an email and with a few bullet points and iterate from that. All is done for that. So we are trying to facilitate access to scripting through Jupyter notebooks. And since we launched 6 months ago, we have had a lot of feedbacks. We have a lot of users coming in. We took so many feedbacks from people, understanding what they want, how they want to use the product. And the most interesting insight we got is that they actually compare us to Google Colab, which is a notebook as a service from Google service. So it was really cool for us to see that. But what they like is that we have added value, added features. So this scheduling feature, scheduling a notebook, makes it as a bot. It's really a bot you can build with the notebook by only one line of scheduling. So it's very interesting how this feedback loop with the users helped us, move the product forward. And we have two major achievements, I would say, during this period of time where we launched the product and now, which is the switch of our pricing to free forever pricing with 100 credits. So you got 100 credits per month you can use. It's like 3 hours a month. And the other thing is like the credit-based system. So the credit-based system is everything related to the microservice you use. Those microservices will be debiting credits on your 100 credits a month if you're using the free plan. And if you're using other plans, then you have also more credit to use, so you can do more stuff. But the credit-based system is really the cornerstone of what we've been building for the past 6 months. So now we are well into our shoes, and we can target this usage really happily, and because we have found out the way to deal with this computing power we are buying from AWS, but sending back to the. So this is it has been a lot of work, and now we are focusing on community building. And obviously, in the coming months, it's about getting more feedbacks from the community, enabling people to contribute to the open source project. And I guess this is what we are going to tell the people next.
Yes, exactly. No, I think that is a fantastic plan. And I think you've just come a long way. I always, whenever we talk, Jeremy, obviously I've told you this, that NASA has just grown like this. And obviously it's the hard work that you guys are putting behind it. You are taking the right feedbacks. You are actually implementing it, going back and implementing it well, and making sure that the program is running very well. So, and yes, definitely when you say, I relate to you very well when you say you've jumped into data from a finance field, and I have a similar background, right? Where I have done my MBA in finance, I have my executive MBA in finance, but still I'm in data. I love data building. I love community building. I think data is everything today, and you've understood the crux. But your bits, when you talk about automating, it is very, very interesting, because you've just built something which will save time for these data geeks who are wanting to get into data science. And I think it's something which is very strong out there. So okay, we have a few folks joining in. We'll just greet them. Neeraj is here. Hey Neeraj.
Hello Neeraj.
George Faken is here. I saw Scott Taylor. I saw Kate. Hey, Kate. She's on vacation, but still on LinkedIn. Okay, that's amazing.
Nice.
Um, yeah, I see a question from George Frickin. Very quick question. So, what do you enjoy doing the most now after your introduction? Like, obviously, you've been into different fields and things that you've done are wait. There's been a complete path for you. So, what is that one thing that you enjoy the most now? Nice
No,
question.
it's quite easy. It's meeting people, like connecting with people.
Oh,
Everything was about when I was doing this automation, everything was about I want to spend more time with the project manager, the accountant, the I wanted to basically connect with people to understand what is really the business about. And
yep.
automating everything is about having more time to get into more human relation. So. What I like the most is saving a lot of time making automation to spend more time
Wow.
with people, basically.
I think that's one of the most amazing answers that I have heard from any of the guests, that you love meeting people, and that's so
Yeah,
true, right? Because when you meet people, you know that what's next for them. Are they looking for something where they can save their time, and that conversation can give you the gist of what you are aiming to do is automate things and making things much
yes,
more easier for these data geeks.
yeah,
So I think that is it might come out as weird when you hear it for the first time, but there's a plan behind it, which is amazing. And
yes.
yeah, that's amazing. We had another question from Akshay Toshniwal. Hi Akshay, thanks for joining in. How did you start your journey with automation? What motivated you, and what were the challenges you faced initially to automate the financial data?
Um, yeah, so good question, actually. Thank you for the question. So, how did I start my journey to automation? As I've talked briefly in the introduction, I
Yeah.
was asked to do reporting of data cash
Hmm.
position, basically. I needed to tell to my big boss, the CEO and founder of the company, of this software company here in France, I needed to tell him every day how many cash he has in the bank, and is the cash level the right cash level? Meaning, did I get all the client payments? Did I pay all the purchase at the right
Yep.
time? And is my cash position accurate or not? So I had this question and I said, like, how the hell I'm going to answer that? Like, I don't know. I don't have a clue. So my journey to automation started with the very genuine aspect. Like, okay, they don't have any kind of reporting right now. So they have 32 entities worldwide in Japan, India, US. So I'm just going to call everyone and say, okay, how do you do? My boss and your boss is asking for a cash report every week on all the
Right.
expenses, everything you commit to, all the capex, all the opex, everything you're going to enter, cash in, cash out. That he wants to know on the consolidated basis. So you
Yep.
had different currencies, you had different nature of flows, you had different thing, but the one thing people have is Excel. So I started with Excel. I started drawing a small table and said to them like, okay, you need to fill this every week. I don't know what system you have, but basically fill this. Please, please fill this. And then the guys started sending me the spreadsheet, and then
Hmm.
I figured like, okay, I need to make copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, make it in a big spreadsheet, uh,
Too much
put a
work.
put a pivot table on it, put some graphs on it, try to automate as much as I can, and then I started understanding how data and automation works. So I managed to make a few automation with the VBA and all, but it was very simple, and I felt like it was not enough. And then I think that the most important thing on what motivated me is that I saw that with the very few things I was doing, like small automation, people were actually like, "Whoa, okay, it's interesting, it's good," because so much people, they are not data geeks as you
Right.
as you
True.
as we've said it. Like, they don't particularly love data, they just want to get the insight. So when you love data and you are okay to build and to put your hands dirty, then you can really also show up and be seen as motivated people. we have made this poll on Data Geeks, and the definition that come out of it was that data geeks are people that are influencing businesses and society with the ability and love for data. So it's the definition that came out of the poll we made recently on LinkedIn. So I think it's a lot of there is a lot of meaning in this. Like, you don't need to be named data scientist, data analyst, financial, whatever. You like the data. You want to go. You have no fear to put your hands dirty. Get it done and solve problems.
Yeah,
Basically.
exactly. I think that definitely that answers for Akshay, and that is something which is coming out of your practical experience that you have had in the past, and then maybe applied to get it better in NAS, in the cash story, obviously. So which is fantastic things that you're doing for the community. I had okay. There was a question. There was a funny question for me actually from Neeraj Satpal. Where do you get all this energy from? Are you sponsored by Duracell? If thanks for that question, Neeraj. I hope Duracell is watching me and they'll love to sponsor my show. Why not? I would love to see that happening. But thanks for that, Neeraj. One more question that I had from Dr. Tariq Ahmed. Thanks for the question. Since you were talking about the microservices, tell us more about some of your microservices that you give out.
Okay. So the first one is the most important one, is the scheduling microservice. So what we were doing is, when we had to do some experiment and iteration based on our scripts, Python scripts with our clients, most recently in CashStory, when we were having some clients to serve, we needed to get automated report every day. So every day we would have to get data from one place and schedule it at every day at 9, because other systems were sending data at 8 or 6 in the morning. So it's basically batch of data that are sent somewhere. So we had to figure out a way to schedule the fact that we would get this input data and transform it to get the output and populate applications or populate reports. So the one service we do is a scheduler, and we managed to do a microservice, a scheduling microservice that will take your notebook and send it to a production environment that will be in your private virtual server, because when you are into NAS, you have your own virtual private server. And so we make a copy of this notebook, and we say to our orchestrator, look at the dates and look at the hour, and when you figure out the right cron job, because it's based on the cron job, it's a standard way of making automation at a certain period of time. When you figure out and you match this syntax, which is saying every day at 9, then you trigger the notebook, and the notebook can do whatever you want. I mean, you can just take data from somewhere, send data from another place. This is one of the microservices. So one is scheduling. The second one is webhook. Webhook is the opposite of microservice. It's about getting data from another system without doing anything. So you have a form on the web. You have a form that you want people to key in. This is how we do for creating accounts on NAS. You're on the form, and we use the NAS webhook to take the data, so your name, your surname, your email, and create yourself an account on the instance that we manage. So webhook is the opposite of scheduling. It's you expect something from a third party to trigger your notebook. Then we have sharing assets. You want to create a graph, and you want to generate a little link that will be able to be shared with people. So you want just to share the graph at the end of your notebook. You don't want to share the full notebook. So this asset is another service. Then you have a notification system. You can send email with a few low code, and you can just send your assets, the graph you have created, into an email to your boss. Like, hey boss, this is the data, this is the key information. Here is the graph and summarizing everything. And it's basically facilitating the whole workflow where you have to develop something to communicate to another people. So microservices are about that. You can have scheduling, webbook, assets, notification. We even have the secret keys. When you want to reuse your secret keys in different notebooks, you can save them. So all of those are the microservices.
Okay, Jeremy, just one question on the microservices. Actually, not one question. I have two, three questions. When you say about a scheduler, so this scheduler is helpful in all the three other microservices. When you talk about webhooks, it's more about a duplication, or maybe getting the data from, say, a Google form. If you
Mm-hmm.
have a Google form, if you just need to get the data extracted from it, can we schedule that? Okay, I need it at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Is it possible as of now? Yeah, on NAS.
Exactly. So another microservice is like the Google Sheet, and this is the most
Yeah,
used of all the
yeah,
microservices with the
exactly.
scheduler. So whenever you get data into Google Sheet, you can then take this data from this Google Sheet, put a line in your notebook, in your NAS notebook, saying nas.scheduler dot every day at 9, and this
Yep.
will trigger the automation whenever you want it. So it's exactly what you said. It's like it's helping to get at a certain frequency the
Right.
automation you want.
Okay, sounds good. The other question, obviously, that I had was about the email. The When you said microservices as an email is
Mm-hmm.
something that where we can send, an email extracting all the information. Say, if I need to send it to my boss, then how first thing, we can schedule it definitely because we have a scheduler.
Mm-hmm.
But what type of data, or what type of, is it about the presentation that is being that we have created? We can send it to obviously our boss. How does it work? And can you
Okay.
just tell
Maybe
me?
you want me
Yeah,
to show you.
yeah. Maybe if you can, why not? You can share your screen. We can see the automation on air. Why not? I think that
Yeah.
would be
Why not?
amazing.
Yeah, let's do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, sure.
So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah, sure. Okay, I
Is
can
it
see
okay?
it. I can add to the stream. Yes.
Is it good?
So yes, it's good. I'll just put the
Okay.
question down. Nice question,
So
Dr. Tariq. Yep.
So here you are in the NAS notebook. So what you do is basically here we want to build a Bitcoin prediction bot. Okay. So you want to take the data from the Yahoo Finance. We want to take
Yeah.
Bitcoin USD for the last 100 days until today. We want to get this ticker, get this date from day 2. And with the NAS driver, which is one service that NAS provide, basically NAS provide 3 elements: the templates, which are ready-made notebooks, the drivers
Yep.
that are facilitating access to tools, and the features. And the
Mhm.
features and the drivers are both microservices. So we are using this Yahoo Finance. This is just an abstraction of the Yahoo Finance API that we are making it
Yep.
easily available here. You get your data sets, then you want to make a prediction on the data sets. So you
Right.
take back the data sets and you apply a driver called prediction. It will get
Mm.
ARIMA, linear regression, SVR into your data set. Then you want
Oh,
to basically build a chart. So with the Plotly a
exactly.
driver, you'll be able to plot the Bitcoin price with a few
Okay.
hypotheses. Of course, it's not a
Mm.
proper thing. It's not financial advice, nothing. It's just applying
Yeah,
basic
exactly.
machine learning model to a time series. So this is what you get. You get this graph. Then you want to export this chart because you want to share it to someone. You want to make a few change because you want a dollar to be in your email. So you want to make a round. You want to make a certain formatting for your data because you want to fill a
Yep.
template. And here is the
Right.
template you want to fill. So if I'm zooming in, I think it's worth zooming a little bit. Maybe not, or presentation mode. Yeah. So your email would be something like, "Hey boss, this is the Bitcoin price today. This is the variation. This is the variation in percentage. Yesterday close was this one. And in 20 days, if we apply basic prediction model, here is going to be the different output. And if you want to have
Wow.
more information, you can share this public link, which is generating an asset from that." So going back from this script, you can see that we are making a few calculation. We are
Yeah.
calculating the data today and everything. And then we are sending a message on Slack. So we
Schedule.
take the
Okay. So on
we
Slack
schedule
itself.
and we
Wow.
schedule it every day at 9, doing only this. So every day on the Slack channel that we have here, we have this output, Bitcoin prediction bot, which is filling the data blanks that we were seeing, and with the prediction of the different output of the machine learning models. And if you want to open the chart, you just click and have it in full screen. And
Wow.
so you imagine what you can do. You can do with an email, with the Slack channel, with the Teams
Exactly.
channel. You can deliver it through Twitter. You can deliver it through social media. It's really powerful because in a few lines of code, you can schedule and write your script at the same time, meaning you don't need to go out of your Jupyter notebook.
No, I think this is very powerful. I think this is the first time, Jeremy, you were showing it to me as well in so much detail, and I think it is definitely something which is which I would love to use, because I have my own Slack channel where I keep posting, but there are a few things which obviously we need to post
Automate.
about
Mm.
regularly, and we need to automate obviously for the people around. And I think definitely I'm joining your Slack channel. I am on your Slack channel, but I think I need to be on the prediction bit there. I think it will be kind of very helpful. So definitely, what I'll ask is for you to share your Slack channel link in the you can share it in the chat later after
Yeah, yeah.
the session, so people can at least join there. Okay, all sounds good. I think these microservices question by Dr. Tariq obviously brought many things up. Thanks, Dr. Tariq. Okay, pretty cool.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, Paul says great content engineering from naas.ai. And obviously, Shruti is here. Shruti says these ideas are amazing, and I've never seen someone put so much emphasis on automation. Obviously, and she loves the services, so it's amazing. Okay, let's move a bit forward. Oh, just before doing that, maybe one question from George, which I think is important. What are the next steps for naas.ai?
So basically, it's all about community building now. We want the open source roadmap that is shared on our website to be triggered by the use cases of our users. So
Yeah.
it's all about gathering and talking to as much people as we can, making sure they
Mm.
understand how to use the microservices, because
Yep.
it's a few lines of low code. You've seen it. You can schedule
Yeah,
your
exactly.
notebook in a few lines, but
Yeah.
still, use cases need to arise. Is it the Bitcoin prediction you want to do? Is it something else? And is it so many use cases can be invented on this platform. We want people to build on top. We want NAS to be a commodity for people to build on top of it, not to be
Yeah,
like
right.
in the front row. What interests us is people that are going to build stuff on this platform, and it's about supporting them. It's about helping them in using the product, improving the product if we can at a certain point. So we want to organize everything under the three elements of NAS. Again, is the templates. So it's an open source
Templates.
repository of templates. You can just download the templates, change a few variables, and you're good to go. You have already cases built in. Then we have the drivers. We want to have more connectivity with different tools. So
Yeah.
drivers are really enabling a one-line connection to your tool. And we have those features. The use case we see the most is the one that is helping all those data geeks to automate their report they give to their boss. So they would be
Oh,
able to
yes.
take inputs from CSV file or system, use NAS as an engine to deliver output on the email basis, most likely on the email basis, because it's the way information is consumed today. The most important way of sending out information is still emails. Even if we have so many social media and all, it's still emails are the most used. So we want to facilitate that workflow. We want to make sure this workflow is working perfectly good, that everybody knows how to use it.
Yeah, I think that is amazing, and a great
And
plan indeed.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the second thing that I want to maybe say here today is But as people are comparing us from Google Colab, we will somehow need to be also on the same level as Google Colab, meaning providing a free notebook uptime and
Exactly.
some kind of a free GPU. But we are looking for people willing to give their confidence in our team, so we can ask more credit to
Totally.
AWS and be able to serve more
Exactly.
people. So
No, that is true.
it's about saying hello to AWS and making sure that somehow uh, free credit and GPUs can come to NAS for people to enjoy it and try to play the same way
Yes.
they do with Google Colab, but they will be able to add this microservices, which is quite valuable when you are able to schedule stuff and get those services on top of the notebook. It's surely helping a lot. Everything we do in NAS, all our company is automated through the product, so we can obviously share more about how to automate your company and your project through the product.
No, I think definitely that's a great idea, and I understand when you talk about the integration of AWS. Obviously, that is the most important thing, and that will actually upgrade the product much more higher.
We are
And
already at AWS, but it's like giving more computing power. That is the problem.
true, true. I totally agree, and great plans there, definitely, Jeremy. Okay, let's move a little ahead and understand one thing that we were always waiting for. I've been hearing that a lot, which is about the Earth Day. At least I saw your post the other day, and I was so happy that someone spoke about the Earth Day, right? And there's this challenge that you've come up with, and Earth Day is celebrated on the 22nd, if I'm not wrong, Jeremy.
Yeah, it's
22nd of
tomorrow.
April. Okay, fantastic. It's tomorrow. It's the best time that we scheduled today. So I'm very happy. So yeah, can you tell me that what is Earth Day about? What's your plan? How can people participate? I have actually mentioned about the Earth Day form up there, but want to know more about it first time from you. You can share
Yeah,
your screen if you want to show something. We can maybe do that as
yeah.
well.
I'll share my screen, but maybe first I need to explain where does this come from. So we
Yeah,
are
exactly.
we are building a tool that is using computing power. Okay, so somehow we need to make sure that we are not over consuming. This is all about our consciousness as people, to be able to be aware that our actions have an impact on our environment. So we want to
Right,
contribute in any way we can in the arising the consciousness of people on these topics, because
right,
CO2 emission, food consumption, energy consumption, all these things
very
are actually
important.
impacting our environment. And we can see that in different places of the globe, the planet is losing the balance that has been here for hundreds of years. We have changed the balance in a way as humans. So we need to actually figure out what are the steps we need to take to make sure that we can mitigate the risk of what's going to happen next, because we are not sure, but we can see a pandemic, we can see more natural disaster, we can see a lot of deforestation. So how do we actually get the data? How do we actually get a sentiment on the planet's health at one point of day? How do you know today on the 21st of April if the situation is better than yesterday? We don't really know, but there might have been some events that have people have planted trees, some people
Exactly.
have restored corals, some people have doing this and that. So there is so much data that is untouched and not even used to show our health, let's say. So
Exactly.
last year we started with my team a project called Word Situation Room, where we wanted to put every data we could find in the same space. We were only the five of us, so it was not as much as we did what we could, but we didn't
It's difficult, right?
continue
Yeah.
with the project. So this year we are like, okay, now we didn't have NAS at that time. We were just using it as an internal tool. Now that we have it, we can share it to people, and we can invite people to play with us on the tool to automate gathering data from the World Bank, the OECD, all those entities that are publishing open data. We can cross this data, make visuals, expose the visuals to the world, share it more accurately, and have this kind of a movement where people can actually promote their work as a data scientist, analyst, because they would be able to showcase their work. We are going to be able to host and make a contribution to the, I talked to you about the templates. So all those templates, people can contribute and give, like if they work on a notebook, let's say for visualizing CO2 emission, they could be able to push this notebook to the open source repository of NAS, and we would accept it or ask for a few changes if it's needed. But it's like collaboration and contributive. And for anyone who is willing to do some notebooks and push the notebooks and have visibility on pushing notebooks to an open source repository, we want them to contact us, because we are able to make collaboration and consolidate all those notebooks that have been built to understand the planet situation, the Earth situation, during 1 month. So we give ourselves 1 month to build as much visuals as we can, as much notebook as we can. Everything should be open source. Everybody should be able to see the code, play with it via notebooks. And this is why we are offering for anybody who wants to commit to that 5,000 credit on NAS. So it's the form is here. Maybe I can just share it if you want. Anyone willing to contribute to this, you have this form, and you just need to put your name, surname, email, who you are. If you're not data, if you're not making code or whatever, you can still help us promoting. So just feel free to click on this one and explain to us what are your motivation and what do you think is important. Because we have, so basically we have a few steps to go. So you can create yourself an account on NAS, a free forever plan. You will get this. Then you will have the possibility to be published in the list of open source notebooks, which are organized by sources. So you can see, for example, we have some stuff on the World Bank. So on the World Bank, we have already a few things like the Gini index. And this Gini index is showing people inequality in the world. So maybe this is not opening. So I need to do like this. So basically,
Jérémy,
this is
just to stop you. I think for the URL, I guess I've just Dr. Tariq, I've just shared it in the same post where you're looking, watching the live session. Let me know if you find it. But go ahead, Jérémy.
Yeah. So basically, and so you have these notebooks where you can be showcased. You can push and contribute to this repository. You can find inspiration, and you can share ideas on this Trello board where we have organized different topics: CO2 emission, energy consumption, food consumption, natural disaster, endangered species, and government actions. So, as an example, we are trying to rebuild some graphs that we can see in different presentations, but we want them to be inside a notebook to be completely auditable. So, for example, this one shows us the GDP in $1 billion versus the CO2 emission. So you can see that the GDP and the CO2 emission have grown on the straight line between 1965 and today. So how are we going to decouple that? What are we going to do to make sure that the CO2 emissions are not yet correlated to the GDP? Is it something we can do? There's a lot of questions, and we can break it down. Yesterday, we had a call with a few people that are already into the project. So we can do this graph, but we can drill down by country. And maybe there is some country where it's not a straight line because they are investing in cars and lower energy consumption regarding that are making CO2 emissions. So there is a
Yeah.
lot of questions that can arise from there. So we are very, very curious in seeing what people can have in terms of ideas, how they want to implement and explain and communicate those ideas. And
Yep.
well, everything is going to be. You can just make a pull request here in this repository and register on this form, and we will be really happy to talk to you and connect with you because
Wow.
it's what it is about, right? It's connecting with people, seeing what we can do
True.
together to fix some problem and bring some data out. There is Yesterday, we were talking with Peter Turner. He is a brilliant
Wow.
data scientist in South Africa, and he actually mentioned that not so many people are working on this. So if you are working in a data space, if you want to be uh, visible, also, if you want to contribute to something, um, come and play with us. We're going to do a few notebooks, share it, and see what comes out of it. It's a non-organized, totally decentralized, and a bit freestyle event that we are trying to do here. But we're happy to connect with anybody willing to help us.
Wow, I think Shruti attended some meeting yesterday that you guys had in, though she had some network issues. So maybe around those lines. I think it is very interesting indeed. And for those obviously who wish to, join the Earth Day session, the whole challenge can find the link in the same post where you're watching the live session. I'll be definitely signing that up. Though I won't be a person, I guess I'll be choosing those options where I'm not a data geek, but I want to work on it. I want to make it a better place to live. So anything around this is a very divine initiative that you've come up with, Jeremy. Fantastic. I love it, and I'm
Yeah,
sure the
anything can
folks
be
around
helped
it love
with.
it as well.
Yeah, it's
So
anything. If
very
you're not
interesting.
a data geek, you can still promote whatever coming out on the social
Yeah.
media, and also it's always helping.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds super exciting, and let's do it. Yeah. The other thing, obviously, there were a few questions which I think we should just take up before we jump onto a different topic. One was around, I guess, around the hiring process. Is there? Okay, I'm just trying to quickly find that question for you, Jeremy. Very important question. Okay, one question here from Shruti. Do you have a YouTube channel for your company?
Yeah, yeah, we do. So
Okay.
you can, so maybe I can share it also
Yeah,
here.
sure.
And so I started playing around, making tutorial videos, and so basically, if you look at NAS, you want to explore the feature, you will figure out that on each feature, scheduler, webbook, or whatever, I'm trying
Wow.
to do a video. I'm trying to do a video for you to get started with the feature. So we have it for
Yep.
the scheduler, we have it for the webbook, we have it for the assets, the one I published recently. I'm starting to like promote how are the use cases you can have, and from there, everything is on the YouTube channel. So what we do
Wow.
is we have different kind of playlists. Let's say we have templates where we could showcase how templates work, drivers, what I've told you about, and features. Those fits the three elements that makes NAS possible. And then we have a few shows. Recently, we made one explaining why we have built the NAS. Of course, the first Ravit Show I put it here, and one show with also Dennis
Yeah.
Rotman on the transformers I've done. And
Wow.
so yeah,
Yes.
we are trying to build this YouTube channel as the main channel for us, as well as the LinkedIn. So you can find us on YouTube and LinkedIn most likely
Amazing.
if you want to follow us. We also have a
Okay,
Twitter
fantastic.
account for product
Yep.
updates.
Amazing. So you are everywhere, and yeah, people can check them out at NAS, obviously on the
YouTube.
YouTube and Twitter as well. So that's there. Okay, quick question that I wanted to take was from Mavic Invasra. Are you open to hiring for Cash Story or NAS? Are you hiring?
Yeah, I mean, not right now, to be frank, but we will probably be in the future if we manage to have a few other steps going in the next coming month. So, but we are really eager to collaborate with people that have already put a step inside the product. So what we wish to do is basically see the people contributing to the product, because it's open source,
Right.
you can contribute to the code base. And from there, we
Exactly.
can just start a relationship, because it's all about
Wow.
relationship building. You know, we want to have a hiring process that is based on the previous experiences of an open source
True.
contributor that has been trying to put his head into the product. And you know, this is all about like building a relationship and not just hiring people for hiring people. You see what I mean?
Wow. Wow, I get it, completely. It's more about the, the work with the work and the passion one has start working, and maybe there's an idea which comes up and you work together rather than having
Yeah,
the boss in the the employee relationship.
yeah.
It's better to
I don't
be
want to
being, yeah,
be in that position. We want to have a small team, and we want this team to
yeah.
grow with open source contributors,
Wow.
and get the best of it. You know, it's yeah, it's about
Yeah.
community building.
True, exactly, and I completely agree. There was a very important question that came across from Neeraj Satpal. Jeremy, can you delve more on when you say that at Netflix everybody is using notebooks to access data, automation, and AI, and that your mission is to give people access to what they have at a fraction of their costs?
Exactly. So
Yep,
we realized that Netflix, if you type Jupyter Notebooks and Netflix on the web, you will find
exactly.
so many articles and YouTube videos on how they use notebooks in production for data access. And
Right.
it's very interesting. Yeah, I invite you also to watch one of our shows where we explain it during 1 hour how we got inspired by Netflix, because it takes 1 hour
Yeah,
to explain all the inspiration we got from
exactly.
them.
No, yeah.
And
Yep.
and then you will understand that those guys are the first one who has made us notebook scheduling. They managed to schedule notebooks and get data in production like this. So from the very engineer to the top executive, people are accessing data through notebooks. One are having more detailed Python code, one are only having drivers. And we are having the same approach, drivers. Or they have templates, and those templates enable one executive that doesn't know about notebooks to just load the notebook, query it, and get the result whenever he wants. So it's about getting this notebook as a service infrastructure that Netflix is building for themselves, and try to get all the best that they put and they say on the web. And we are going to grasp all of that. And this is what we have been doing. We have been trying to grasp any information regarding the notebook and the architecture, meaning the microservices that they have built around it. And we want to do the same, but into NAS. So anybody can have access to this piece of software and intelligence on how to schedule a notebook and build some automated bots very easily
Yep.
to access and
Yep.
transform and communicate data. As I said, it's about accessing data. First, we want to facilitate access to data. You want to pull
Yep.
data from whatever system. We are even trying to do it for social media stuff. So we want
Yep.
to put, let's say, your social data. Then you want to automate some kind of analysis on it. And then you want to use AI at the end of the journey to optimize whatever outputs you want. So we really believe that this platform, the notebook, is going to be a big thing, and it's a rising market in the US right now. So
Yep.
yeah, let's
Yep.
see how it goes. What we want to do is provide the best of the notebook experience
Mm.
at a very fraction of the cost, meaning you pay for the credit you use based on the
Yep.
microservices you use, and
Yep.
um, and then you're free to invent and build stuff for yourself.
Exactly. Okay, that's a great plan, Jeremy, and thanks for putting it through so clearly for the audience here. There was another interesting question from Taruna. Okay, That's great, Jeremy. Mercy. Okay, I'm taking this question late. I think this was more about the automation plan that you shared, Jeremy. So Taruna says, me and my team also tries to make data analytics accessible to non-data science people. How do you simplify the process of communicating complex data concepts easily to everybody? Nice question.
Yeah, nice question. It's about data storytelling. It's about telling the story behind the data. And
Yes.
I very much agree with all the concept that even Kate and yourself, Ravit, are putting on paper, because it's all about telling the story. If you know
Yeah,
about
exactly.
the right visuals, so it's basically coming down and breaking down to the visuals. I've recently seen on
Mm,
LinkedIn something very interesting from one guy making a kind of a map chart of, if you had this kind of question, then you should use this kind of graph. And this
yeah,
thing I've seen on the social media, and I think it's very accurate to have this in mind. You need to choose the right visual for the right message.
very true.
You cannot do everything. You need to choose the right colors. Also, you need to
Right.
make sure that it's accessible to anyone. So I would really say that all the data visualization process is very interesting, but communicating complex data concepts, uh,
Yep.
you can break it down to an email, a mail, like a text. You can literally have somebody read the text and understand the complexity behind textual data. And I think there is a lot of things to explore in this area, because the visual will always help support some understanding. But when you read a book, yeah, you have some visual to like put in image what you're reading. But today, the
Yeah.
data is so much consumed through the only the visualization thing. You can actually do it and read like with the text. When we were doing the Bitcoin, we were just filling the blanks of the data, and we have a text already written. I would be able to explain the Bitcoin prediction to someone by just writing down a few texts, filling up the gaps, and this is what NAS can do. So I would be very happy to show to Taruna, and I think we are already in contact, so we can already
Okay, fantastic.
foresee in our conversation the
Amazing.
way people can build on top of NAS. And what we want to do is basically provide the commodity that will enable Taruna and our team to go
Mm,
without thinking about the IT hustle, without thinking about the complexity of the IT thing, just focusing on delivering the right message to the people that wants to get the insights, and that actually, let's be honest, doesn't really care about the rest. They just want to have the insight. When you talk to an executive, he wants to know what's the insight, how I can help, and how it has been done is not really the thing. When
true.
he has understood, he will go for it. He will try to help his team. So leaders need to
Mm.
definitely go in that sort of very brief executive format when they can deliver, when it can be easy to deliver insights.
Yes, I think that is fantastic insight when you say executive out there, if he's listening to your plan, he's listening to your idea, he'll be looking out for something which is very concise and which is very straightforward and what you built clearly, rather than understanding where what's gone behind it and what's the working behind it. But sometimes it's just about the output that people care, and that's I think one of the most powerful
Yeah.
things one can do with NAS. And definitely one place. Obviously, I have tried my hand on NAS, and I would urge everyone to just go sign up for NAS and enjoy it, because it's one of the best platforms created by Jeremy and team. So thanks for that, Jeremy. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
definitely. Neeraj says it's great stuff, and you spoke about Netflix, and obviously Taruna says perfect. Thanks, Taruna, for asking that interesting question, and all the best to your team. But Jeremy, before we wrap up, one question that I ask all my guests is, where can people reach out to you? Which is the best platform to get in touch with you, ask different questions about NAS, if you want to join your team, if anyone wants to contribute, where is it where people can come and ask you questions?
I'm very active on LinkedIn, so you can message
Okay,
me and comment posts that I make, whatever.
fantastic.
Messaging me on LinkedIn is the best way. And yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy to answer. I try to answer all the messages. So
Yes.
and there is no bot
Yes.
behind it. It's just me.
Yeah, exactly. My next question, I just wanted to wrap it up there, but my next question was is it, are you using a scheduler or maybe a bot there to respond to your messages? Okay, glad to hear there's
No,
nothing behind yeah, your
rest
chat,
is
so which is
automated, but
fantastic.
the rest is automated. But this, when you're talking to me, you're talking to me.
Yeah, exactly. So LinkedIn is the place where you can reach out to Jeremy. And thank you very much, Jeremy, for sharing your journey about
Thank
Nash,
you.
about the Earth Day, about what you've created here, what's next. I'm joining Earth Day initiative for sure. Whatever I can do from my end, I will definitely. I will urge everyone joining in and hearing about Earth Day. Please do go and have a look at it, have a check, and it's for our earth, so let's do every small bit we can do. And thank you very much, Jeremy. Hope you enjoyed the session.
Thank you very much, Ravit. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for everyone for joining, and don't
Yes,
hesitate to
thank you
reach
very
out to
much.
me, and see you soon.
Yes, thank you very much, everyone. And